The breweries in southeast Louisiana these days are beginning to pour over. From large-scale production facilities to the more pint-sized shops, it's a bustling scene of brews. A little more than 15 years ago, nearly all of these places didn't exist.
There were just no operating breweries after Katrina, and this was very much a market that needed an influx of beer.
Very quickly, though, in the past decade, that need is filled. Almost across the board, these places got their start right at home.
He totally was obsessed to the point where, home brewing every weekend, any chance he got, and then one day, I'll never forget this moment because you looked at me and you were like, I was put on earth to brew beer. And I was like, dude, go for it.
Zach and Carrie Carmonta, the owners of Gnarly Barley in Hammond, turned a passion for home brewing into major business, canning the stuff they love to drink to share with others. It's a similar story over at Chafuncta Brewing Company, where this husband and wife team saw a niche that was ready to explode.
We saw the need for it in Louisiana. We were actually the 7th craft brewery to open in the state. Now they're in the 40s.
One of the biggest operations Abita Brewing started the craft brew scene back in the 80s, laying groundwork well before this type of brewery was really attainable.
Better equipment has gotten smaller and more affordable, and making it easier for people to can and make it more feasible, and they've seen a success. So, banks are more willing to lend, investors are more willing to invest.
In reality, those investments began outside of Louisiana. As more craft breweries, though, bubbled up around the country, beer makers back here at home seized their moment.
And we kind of saw an explosion of available beer from outside this market kind of pop up, which kind of probably helped play a part in people wanting more local options.
Mitch Gritman, the brewer over at Zony Mash Beer Project, snagged this old theater turned brewery with his partners, spinning out cans and kegs in the heart of New Orleans, creating that local option the market craves.
People care about knowing where the things that they consume come from, and people love local products.
And I think people really appreciate that, and they know what goes into it. And it's a lot of times a smaller operation, so they feel more a part of it, right? Not just some big box beer company.
It's kind of what drives us every day is to be unique, put out special beers, really challenge ourselves to take flavors that maybe aren't commonly found together, but bring them together in some form or fashion.
Over at Urban South on Chapatulas, they've stretched beyond just making local brews into the experimental crafting creations you'd never expect.
We're using things like white chocolate, peach gummy rings, that will actually immersion blend and add into the beer. So it's just really fun.
Many of those fun ideas often come from other breweries.
I think that it's a camaraderie and an openness in the industry.
Scott Wood runs what might be one of the smallest shops in town, but with big flavors. The Courtyard Brewery is tempting drinkers from all over and winning them over with their brews.
Like once you try something that tastes better, like you naturally disincline towards going back to what doesn't taste as good.
It's a focus on great beer and the community that extends from a small brewery like Courtyard all the way to Faubourg in the east.
So we're able to take and make all the beer on site, do all the quality in-house, and package everything here as well. And it's just nice to bring production back to New Orleans, have local New Orleans employees, and to really help drive community through a local product.
While Faubourg is filling cans by the thousands, others are just getting juiced up, creating a community that's thrilled for each brewer's success.
All of the manufacturers know each other. We all drink each other's beers. We support each other. So it's been really over the last 7 or really 6 years blossoming quickly.
We don't look at it that way at all. Competition. We don't look at it.
If you look at the aisle still today, Budweiser and Coors Light and all those beers, they take up a huge section still today. There's plenty of room for growth.
Each of our paths to success is completely different because it's based on what we personally want. I'm not really interested in having my beer sit on shelves. I'm most interested in serving someone directly and having them taste my beer in the way that I feel like best represents the care that we put into it.
Those paths to success are quickly coming to a head. But in a market with a real taste for good beer, there's no limit for what's next.
I heard folks mention that, we must be oversaturated, and I don't even think we're close. There's 9,000 breweries in the country, and they've been thriving for decades, and we're only just kind of getting ramped up.
Rob Krieger, Fox 8, local first.